3 guys zip tied me and my family, and they threw them in the back of the U-Haul, right? They drove him around for hours through the Trinity Alps.
Jesus.
And he thought, this is my last day. This is it. Mm-hmm. They're going to bury me out in the mountains. The U-Haul stops. He hears his wife and kids screaming.
Wow.
And he breaks out of the zip ties. He sees in the front seat of the U-Haul, there's like an AK or some sort of assault rifle, right? He lines them up in the sights, and boom.
Welcome, Robertson Stash. Today we are sitting down with the very viral Cowboy Jon. How are you doing, man?
Doing great.
Thanks for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me, Matt. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. So, all right. Well, how about you give us a little bit of background? Like, how did a kid from Finger Lakes end up growing a bunch of weed in Northern California and then eventually going viral with your Instagram and TikTok stories?
Yeah, bro. So, I've always loved weed when I was a teenager. We'd smoke weed every day before high school. And, basically, all right, let's growing up in upstate New York. Yeah, growing up in upstate New York,
because we were driving the weed down there and getting double the money.
Yeah,
from Ontario, where I'm from.
I grew up on the Canadian Beaster, the BC Bud. Man, just the nostalgic memories of having that dro, and it was affordable, which was sick. Being in high school and stuff, $10 a gram. Can't beat the Canadian stuff.
Were you always Cowboy Jon, or was that something that happened later in life?
So, yeah, that happened, honestly, later in life. So I've always been kind of an outlaw, right? Uh-huh. Grew in the Emerald Triangle. I had dreadlocks out there. So
yeah.
It's kind of
with the cowboy hat, or not yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
So the cowboy came later, right?
Yeah.
So I cut my dreads off, kind of had like a midlife crisis. Mm-hmm. And, the cowboy hat, was really what fit, man.
Yeah.
So basically,
perfect for Colorado, dude.
I'm out at my uncle's horse ranch, and I'm feeding the horses and giving them treats and stuff. And my uncle, growing up, he'd always come to New York and stuff for Christmas, and I thought he was like a real life cowboy. Like he just rode horses for a living. So, but he's got he had a few horses over the years, and just decided to rock the cowboy.
There's a lot of function with them. They protect you from the sun, your ears, when you're out on the ranch all day. They got these little grabber areas in the front. I like it, dude.
Oh, yeah. And, back then I was running the biggest hemp farm in Colorado. It was called Cope CBD, and It was kind of cool. That's how I got into hemp, was Cope CBD. So we started with 810 acres out in Cope, Colorado. It was all pivot irrigation. So,
So is hemp different than THCA?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we started in 2018. It was more about CBD, CBG.
Yeah,
and then
CBD.
It started to evolve, right? They started kind of converting the CBD cannabinoid into all these what we call intoxicating cannabinoids, right? And Delta 8 became popular, Delta 10, Delta 11. You have THCO, THCP, HHC.
Is CBD still popular?
CBD has kind of fell to the wayside, but in the marketplace, right? Holistically speaking, it's one of the best things.
I know, I hear that. And I hear all the gummies on the market, everything's 10, 15 grams, 20 grams. But to get the real benefits, you got to do 100 milligram, at least.
Is
that, what do you think about that?
I would say, the higher the dosage, definitely the more benefit, right? You're going to get from it.
So is that what you were growing it and people were just making pills and supplements, or?
Yeah. So, we made over 100 different products, right? We extracted it for extraction. So that's kind of where Seeds and Keys came from, right? I'm at Seeds and Keys on Instagram.
Yeah.
I used to sell seeds, and I used to sell kilos of CBD.
Okay.
Seeds and Keys, and I'd sell millions of seeds, dude. I'd I've sold seed, domestically almost to every state, right? In the early days, 2018, 2019. And then I've sold seed internationally. My seed's gone to South Africa. My seed's gone to Canada.
And how do you get these seeds? Do you crossbreed plants and shake them down, or how do you?
Yeah. So some of my, basically my buddies that, they ran the farm and all that, they were working with breeders, and they're breeders themselves. So some of my really good buddies out here, Luke Pickering, Andy Radosevich, they bred the box or Boax back in 2018. It's a very famous strain. It's probably been in every hemp farm if you've been there, since the early days.
Okay. Wow. So hemp, you don't crossbreed hemp and marijuana together, right?
Not for CBD, right?
Not for CBD. Yeah.
That's a whole different.
So that's a whole different market. CBD, and that's mostly for health and supplements and whatever.
Yeah.
So when did you get into THCA?
So THCA was really starting to take hold, I'd say summer 2022. I couldn't believe it, honestly, right? It was just something where how can, this, because you're not doing anything to the plant that's any different than, say, cannabis, right? I've never farmed it personally, but I work with these farms, and, they basically, they'll cultivate the stuff, get it ready for market. And then through my social media following, a lot of stores reach out nationwide, right?
And that's the Cowboy Reserve?
Yeah, and that's what Cowboys Reserve is. So, it's a mix of a lot of different hemp farms out here in Colorado. Mm-hmm. And basically, some of the best growers out in Colorado. And basically, it's tested through at least what I'm told, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know the ins and outs of everything. I'm not the grower. I'm not the tester. I'm not the, but from what I'm told.
You just processed it and then, or no?
No, I just, wholesale for different farms.
Okay.
But basically, from what I'm told,
is
there's a cold test and there's a hot test,
okay.
Right? One of them is called gas chromatography. That's our traditional test, right? Where you heat up a sample and it decarboxylates, right?
Oh, okay. I think they use a quartz torch to do that, don't they?
Something of
I
that
think
nature.
They do. I think that's what these quartz torches are made for, because they'll burn it so much that they can test what, different chemicals in it, different stats. But okay, so that's a hot test.
Yeah.
And you can test THCA with that? Or?
With a cold test.
Okay, with a cold test.
So now there's this new test, and I think it originated in the SC Labs, California lab, and we had to wait for it out here in Colorado for a long time. It's 6 months or something like that until Colorado got the new equipment. And so now you can test the THCA hemp, locally, and you don't have to send it off to California, which is pretty cool.
Sweet. So does it have THC in it?
So
THCA?
THCA is a precursor to THC, right?
Okay.
So once you heat that THCA bud, right, mm-hmm. It decarboxylates, turns to THC, in which, gets you high. So
yeah.
And it's just crazy as good
as
any other bud. It's pretty incredible. There's really no difference.
But it's legal in all states, or?
It's legal in most states.
Most states?
Right? There's, the farms I deal with, they have federal lawyers and they have lists of states that, can and can't carry THCA. So.
THCA. Interesting.
Yeah. And the THCA market is crazy. It's you see a lot of these big cannabis companies like Cookies, for instance, right? They have their own THCA brand. A lot of these big, companies are moving in on it. Small companies,
Is there benefits to THCA, or is it what? So, THC is this psychoactive mm-hmm. effect. What does THCA do?
So THCA is considered non-psychoactive, right? If you ate it, it wouldn't do anything. But if you, heat it up and decarboxylate, So you're going to get the same effects as THC, right? So, I mean, you're going to feel irie, you're going to feel good, you're going to feel, depending on the strain, right? You might have a sativa that's uplifting, or it's the same effects. So
it's so strange that
recreational cannabis.
It's almost like a loophole or something. Like
it is a loophole, I would say.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not a lawyer. I don't have like, specific actual, farms and stuff where like, I don't know how they actually get down to the nitty gritty of it, but I know that, it's a huge, huge market, I wish
That's
I had
cool.
statistics.
Well, so you've been doing that for quite a long time then, been in the weed industry. Did you start like, coming up with this Cowboy Jon persona online and going viral?
Yeah. So honestly, like I said, I was feeding my uncle's horse one day, and I'm like, shoot, let me throw on a cowboy hat. Let me throw on the cowboy boots. My buddy Luke Pickering, he's got a company called Hemp Depot down in Colorado Springs. And, I was helping him out with some projects, and basically he shows me this huge, CBG that they hung. It was CBG the white, and they hung it 60 feet from the rafters, dude. It just looked gnarly, right? And so I was like, dude, I got to get down there, right? So,
I think that's the picture that your buddy showed me on the plane. It was like in a big farm, giant plants hanging upside down.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the one that kind of went viral?
Yeah, and that kind of changed my life, dude.
Did it really?
Oh, yeah. And we'll get to that. But, I put the cowboy hat on. I go film myself in front of this. I didn't even want to.
Did you have a profile already? Seeds and Keys?
Keys.
Okay.
So, yeah, I had been working on that profile for a year and a half.
And that's where you were like selling, or just kind
CBD.
of CBD.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It started out just CBD seeds, CBD, all that CBD stuff. Basically, I go take this video. I didn't even want to be on camera at that point, bro. I was like putting half my face on the camera. Felt really awkward, And basically, dude, I put that video on, and the next day I had 8.4 million views, and I had 84,000 followers.
Wow.
Overnight,
Wow.
Was
that on Instagram?
Yeah, on Instagram.
Holy shit. That's crazy overnight.
Yeah. So I woke up the next day and I was just pacing. I think I paced for a week, dude.
Really?
Yeah. Like the wholesale signups, like I had hundreds and hundreds of wholesale signups. I had like retail, we had a couple of retail brands we were pushing and stuff. I started my first website back then, I started putting bongs on there and papers and just little things, and I'd make shirts and different things in the early days. But that's evolved, right? I've had a few brands now, which is pretty cool.
Now you're on the Cowboy Reserve is the main one.
Cowboys Reserve. Yeah. And I'm just finding the right home for it. I want to work with a company that has high velocity, capabilities as far as retail brands. I've been discussing with some of the best hemp companies for this situation to happen. And, I think I found a good home for the brand that can actually handle the volume. So,
yeah.
What
inspired you to do these pyramid presses?
Bruh, the pyramid presses. Oh man. So, I went by Low Temp. Low Temp's the homies. Big shout out to Low Temp.
Big shout out to Low Temp. They're sponsor of the pod.
Levi, fucking Matt, the whole crew. So yeah, man, I just noticed that as a cannabis, influencer, it was super hard to not be banned and shadow banned and just putting the IG time out, because I was there all the time, dude, and I didn't know how to get out. And basically I saw rosin on TikTok, and I saw rosin in places and it wasn't getting banned, and I saw big numbers and big growth, right? And, I was working with a few farms at the time doing the, THCA thing. And I said, hey, I bought one press from Low Temp and brought it by, pitched it to my business partner at the time. And, I was like, dude, if we get 10 of these, it's going to absolutely break the internet.
Yeah.
So the idea behind it was to go larger than life. Right?
So how far that was that past the like shot in the barn with the big hemp plants, the pyramid? Did some time pass?
Man, yeah,
Years?
a couple years, yeah.
Really?
So,
were other things going viral in that time?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So, you know, I hit 100K milestone. I hit, you know, I was doing pretty good, but like, you know, I got all my profiles like super banned. I have in my archive hundreds and hundreds. Like, if you look back, it was me in the greenhouse or me out in the field. It was all cannabis related, like all plant related.
So some get banned and some don't. Is there
No.
any rhyme or reason to it, you think?
Well, that's what I was getting to is like the, basically the rosin, any concentrate.
Why
like,
is that
I don't
like
know
slide?
why. Yeah, like distillate.
Do they think
hate
it's like
distillate.
honey
They don't like
something?
diamonds. They don't like when I show flour for sure. They hate when I show joints. But when I
Smoking
show
it, you
the
can't.
rosin, if I smoke, they hate it.
Uh-huh.
But when I show the rosin, like for some reason it hits.
It just goes.
Yeah, and the algorithm can't figure out what it is. TikTok, I'm monetized, man, and like honestly, you know,
Maybe the pyramid threw the or the AI patrol off. They're like, it's not a regular press. It's like a pyramid.
I mean, bro, I've had videos taken down on TikTok, right? And I'll challenge it. I'll do the appeal process.
Is that still going right now?
Yeah,
or is that
TikTok's still going.
Okay.
Yeah. And but anyhow, I'll do the appeal process, and I put this is chicken grease, and they give it back.
Wow. So there's a good little tip.
Yeah, this is chicken.
Do you think
grease.
they're going to change this, like weed ban, anytime
I'm hoping,
soon?
man. I mean, you have Zuckerberg saying he's going to go back to his roots, right, and freedom of speech, but he's still canceling our culture, which is insane.
Yeah. Why do you think that first video got so many views? Like,
It's just
because they were giant plants?
Yeah, the monstrosity, like it looks like there's 10,000 pounds hanging behind me.
Yeah.
It goes 60 feet up. So it's just, I mean, something incredible, like larger than life, you know?
Yeah. So if you just saw that vision, took a picture, changed your life.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, you know, it started with that, and then I got into the rosin because, like, dude, the rosin just hits every single time. The analytics go crazy, and yeah, if you're a struggling cannabis creator out there, try rosin content.
Film your process and
Yeah, I mean, or you know, get on board with your local rosin guy.
that's a good idea.
But
So what's Pot Mountain? Did you?
yeah, Pot Mountain, man. That's kind of where it all began, you know? So, you know, I was like 19 years old in the Emerald Triangle, and it was me and my girlfriend at the time. And
What year was this?
this was 2019, Jesus, 2009.
2009.
Yeah. So 2009, and I was living in the redwood forest, bro, in the back of my, like, you know, living out of my, I think I had a Kia Sportage. No, not even back then, man. I had like I think I had $1,000 like piece of junk, dude. I don't even know what it was. I can't even tell you the make and model.
Yeah.
But it made it to Cali. And anyhow, the thing was like, you know, I couldn't
Did you move there for that 100 plant reason, or is that like? Because that was pretty special to the triangle, right?
For sure. But like, bro, I'm living in the woods, right? And I couldn't find out where these like big farms were, like anywhere, right? So I get this call, and this guy's like, dude, come out to Trinity. And, you know, I'm like, dude, are there really plants there? And he's like, yo, this is where they grow the kind weed. I'm like, dude, what's the kind weed? And he's like, that's a good shit. He's like, I'm like, bro, is there really farms though? I've been everywhere, you know? And couldn't find anything. I travel, it was like an hour and a half. I'm in Arcata and go up to this place called, you know, Hayfork, California. That's where Pop Mountain or Post Mountain is. And basically, bro, yeah, I get to this place. There's colas just hanging over the fence. So, like, I could have just reached my arm out and grabbed a big bud. And I'm like,
wow,
this is the place, you know?
Everyone's just putting in 100 plants over there.
Back then, it was a little less in town, right?
Okay.
But so, like, you know, I meet the landlord. He's like, yo, you got to check out this place. It's 7 miles up outside of town, Rattlesnake Road. Crosses Post Mountain Road. Throw up a sign there, and you'll get picked up quick. And I was like, okay, cool. And if you're trying to get picked up quick, go to the corner of Rattlesnake Road and Pop Mountain Road.
What does your sign say?
So it said, we'll trim for, whatever, I forget. And so, trimmers or whatever, had the Fiskers up, ready to go. And basically,
we'll trim forever for whatever, what, cash or?
No, I forget what the sign said.
Food?
Like, no, cash, bro, obviously, dude. Come on, dude. It was the land of milk and honey back then, right? There was like talks of them paying $400 a pound or $200 a pound and stuff like that to trim.
To trim?
Yeah, so I was trimming 2-3 pounds a day, like,
wow.
cherry picking the big buds and stuff like that. And anyhow, I go up to Pop Mountain, dude, and there's all these football fields. That's where the big 99s were. And that's where it's like the most concentrated cannabis community in Northern California. So, got a trim job up there. And that's basically how I started. I was a trimmer in the Emerald Triangle. I worked for 3 months. This guy owed me probably like 30, 40 grand. And between me and my girlfriend, trimming for 3 months. And he's like, here's $1,000. He's like, I'll pay you the rest in a few months. And I was like, I'm not leaving here until I get paid, Wow. So he ended up paying me in pounds, bro. That's just how I left that property.
And then you had to turn that into
which I did.
Living.
Yeah. I made that work out. And I actually, I was going to go down to Redding, California, do an indoor grow. And my landlord, he wheels up on his wheelchair, and he's like, you want to rent out the farm behind you? And I was like, dude, there's a farm behind me? So he's got this baling wire, and, he undoes the baling wire. And we wheel back there. There's 2 greenhouses, and there's all these boxes, right? 4x4x18 boxes with the skeletons of, like, last year's plants. And basically he's like, dude, you can, if you want to do a split residential land lease, I'll lease this out to you for $4,000 down, and then you give me $3,000 on the back end, and we're good. And so I was like, dude, like, where the fuck do I sign? So
you took your trimming money, and then you're gonna set up your own grow.
Yeah, turned it into my first farm. I was ordering my seeds back then from like Attitude Seed Bank, ordered them to, NorCal.
So it's all outdoor.
Yeah, I was doing outdoor for years, like old school genetics, growing like DNA seeds, growing greenhouse seed company, growing OG Rascal back then. I mean, a bunch of local NorCal genetics too.
How'd your first grow go?
My first grow is actually really good, dude, surprisingly. So, basically I started my plants in like January, February. So by the end, I had some like 8, 9, 10 footers, So
how many, you start with 100 or?
So my first year I did 50 plants, right? Everybody in town, like, they were scared to grow more than like 6 to 18 plants. Like, it was just a thing. Like, up in the pines, they would grow like the big numbers, right? Everybody in town was scared. But like, I was like 19 years old, so I'm like, dude, I'm doing.
Wasn't it legal to grow 100 if you got your license?
It was. But the people in town were afraid. I don't know why. The second year there was when I did the 99 in town. So,
or 99, yeah.
And then like the whole town, pretty much did 99 that year. After I pulled off like a big 50 though. And 50 was big for town at that point,
Yeah, it's a lot of work to maintain those. And did you do it all yourself or did you have help?
Yeah, I hand watered, bro, back then. So, I was lucky enough to have like a hose at my first grow and stuff, because as the years progressed, like, I was hauling water down the mountain, dealing with wells. Like, I mean, you'd have to fucking it'd be like a fire hose, like 100 gallons per minute, and you're holding it in the water tanks and stuff like that. But
did you have to protect your crop at all? Was there any like thievery going on? And
yeah, Yeah. So, I mean, every once in a while, like, at harvest time, I would sit in a tent in my garden, right? And I'd have a shotgun on one side and an AK.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, an AK on the other. And, I'd have my pit bulls, and we used to breed pit bulls back in the mountains for protection,
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, breed pit bulls. And,
Did you keep them, or did you find good homes for them all? Or what?
Oh, yeah.
This is a long time ago. They're probably long gone.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Rest in peace, pit bulls.
Yeah, I mean, but
maybe they're still kicking it.
Yeah, I mean, some of them are probably, some of them are probably still kicking it. Hopefully,
they're grand pups, maybe.
Yeah.
So you needed those dogs to scare off the bad guys,
yeah, man.
Tweakers.
Yeah, and you had to kind of hold your own out there. So I'd wear a bulletproof vest. I had an anonymous mask and had my dreads pouring out because dude, some of my neighbors were tweakers, and they try to steal out there. I've got some crazy stories from the Emerald Triangle.
Let's hear some.
All right, so yeah, why not? So basically, man. So my town.
Did you ever have to shoot somebody out there?
No. I've definitely had to shoot warning shots.
Warning shots. Yeah.
Oh yeah, warning shots were pretty common. Definitely crazy situations that would go down there.
Oh man,
shoot, we had in town, we had Zodi, so the Zodiac Killer.
Okay, what's that? Is that the actual Zodiac Killer?
Yeah, he's the main
movie about
dude.
him.
Yeah, the movie's about. He moved up to the mountains to get some peace, grow some pot and stuff like that.
Wow.
And he's the guy.
Did you actually meet him?
Oh, I'd see him in town all the time.
Really?
Yeah, people would even say, "Yo, what up, Zodi?"
Zodi, really?
Zodi, yeah.
They know he was the Zodiac Killer?
Oh yeah. Yeah, he lives right up on Sunset
He's out now?
Oh yeah. Well, he's never arrested.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, so he's old. He's 90 years old now. He's not hunting people down anymore.
Boy, why isn't the FBI going after him?
Because I think they tried,
They can't prove it?
Yeah, I've never looked into the whole details.
What's the guy's name?
Zodi.
Zodi?
Yeah, bro. We just call him Zodi.
Wow, and you think he's the actual Zodiac Killer?
Legend has it.
Who played that guy? Jared Leto?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I'm going to have to go watch that movie, The Zodiac Killer.
Yeah, I mean, that's, one of the intense characters from
What about, you told me that that guy who went viral, and he was when there was a killer, right? The stab. I saw a documentary about that guy.
So yeah, Kai the hatchet.
That Kai? Yeah.
Kai the hatchet hitchhiker. He was
hatchet-wielding hitchhiker.
Yeah, hatchet-wielding hitchhiker. So I had this trimmer one time. He was dropped off at my farm. And, we all got done trimming, and he still had his gloves on. And my brother's like, "Yo, why does your trimmer still have his gloves on?" So I asked him. And anyhow, he's like, "Oh, I got staph infection down in Berkeley, and I'm trying to cure it with lichen." And I'm like, "All right, well, you got to go." Because I have all these trimmers living in tents on my property. I always have 8, 10 tents, and I mean, I can't afford to have an outbreak, right? So I kick him out, and I check his shit because it's just mandatory. You got to check everybody's bag, make sure they're not stealing as they leave the property. And anyhow, he's got all his camping gear and this and that, and he's got a hatchet. And a few months, he leaves the property. A few weeks or a few months go by, and next thing you know, he's on the news.
What's the story with him, though? What was it?
He hatcheted some dude, and became a hero, right? He made it to Jimmy Kimmel Live.
Yeah, he saved somebody, but then he actually murdered somebody, right? Is that this?
Yeah, then he murdered somebody down the line, and now he's a serial killer or something like that. So, it's pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, he saved a woman from... Didn't he save a woman?
Saved a woman, but, I've got a story that kind of, counteracts him being a hero, right? Because, dude, when he was up on my property, he laid out these psychedelics on my workbench. He had peyote buttons, he had mescaline, he had LSD,
Really?
he had mushrooms. I mean, you name it, right? And he offered it to my trim staff. And I'm like, bro, like, we're not doing psychedelics here. So
Was that like first day he came in?
yeah, dude, it was like first hour.
First hour?
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so this guy wants to get weird.
Yeah, he wants to get weird quick. He lays out all the psychedelics, and I'm like, dude, you know, I'm not having somebody wig out. It's my property. We made it this far. It's harvest time, you know?
Uh-huh.
So, like, you know, no psychedelics on the property. And so he's like, all right, cool. He wraps them back up, and it was in some weird cloth, right?
Huh.
Yeah. And
That's weird.
Yeah.
All mixed together, all the different
No, it was
peyote
like
buttons?
in different sections, like pocketed in this cloth.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyhow, a few months go by. Adam and Sherry were some of my trimmers. They call me up and they're like, dude, you got to check out Kai's like famous. And I'm like, what, dude? The dude with staph infections famous? And they're like, yeah, dude, you got to check it out. I'm like, dude, for what? They're like, just check out YouTube. And I'm like, all right. He's got like 10, 5, you know, whatever million views back then. And he's like, you know.
Because he was on the news,
Yeah.
right? And he was just.
Yeah. And basically the driver thought he was Jesus Christ and smashed into a PG&E worker and like pinned him into like a telephone pole. And like Kai got out and like hit the driver because like he was hitchhiking, right? And the driver like went crazy or whatever, thought he was Jesus Christ.
Because he probably drugged him, dude.
Thank you. That was because I told you he laid out the psychedelics, so you figured out that he wasn't a hero. But like, I didn't want to like call like San Francisco PD and be like, yo, this dude was at my house a few months ago, like laying out psychedelics that could have made that driver think he was Jesus Christ.
Wow. So that's the story. He was hitchhiking, and then the driver just flipped out and thought he was Jesus Christ, and then crashed his car into
a PG.
And then Kai stabbed him a bunch
with a hatchet. He just hit him in the head with a hatchet, and he cleaned up his own mess.
And he killed him.
Killed him.
And then he was like,
that's my theory, at least. That's my theory.
And then he was on the news saying like, that guy was trying to kill me. I was self-defense.
Yeah. Yeah, and then
someone like remixed that song, like a stab song. That's pretty.
Yeah, smash. Yeah, it turned into like a viral song. I mean, bro, he went to Jimmy Kimmel Live. They gave him a Minnie Mouse and a wetsuit, and like I'm like sitting there the whole time. I'm like, dude, that's a sketchy dude.
And then what? Then he gets busted for actually killing people.
Yeah, then he got busted for actually killing people. So, like, he killed a lawyer on the East Coast, and then they were trying to string him to 13 hatchet murders across the U.S.
Wow.
So I basically had a serial killer for a trimmer.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Wow. That's wild.
So you never know out there, you know. You got to definitely pick your trimmers wisely, and I'd pick, like, mostly girls, you know.
Yeah. I'm sure.
After that.
Wow. Hey, what's up, everybody? Have you ever wanted to make hash at home? Well, Low Temp Industries has got you covered. They sell do-it-yourself rosin kits. They're the one-stop shop for all your home and commercial rosin extraction needs. And I'll tell you, we had one in the shop for about a week, and it is absolutely a good time to squish your own hash and smoke some fresh dabs right off the press. So you don't even have to leave your house to get your own hash. Find them on their website at lowtemp-plates.com or on Instagram at lowtemp.industries. Now back to the show. So do you ever see any aliens out there?
Yeah.
We talk about aliens a lot on the pod. So do you have an alien UFO sighting story you'd feel like to share?
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, one day I was out in my brother's farm. That year we had the Great Wall of Hayfork. It was this 10-foot fence across an acre in a 99 patch.
And where's this, in Redding or is this?
That was in Hayfork.
Oh, Hayfork.
Yeah,
Okay.
Hayfork, California, on Morgan Hill Road, that farm was. And anyhow, I'm out in the back, and, you know, I think I was watering or doing whatever. And, dude, there was this huge craft. It was like, dude, the size of a football field. And it was made of light, right?
Wow.
No sound.
Were you on any psychedelics or anything?
Dude, I wish.
Okay, you weren't?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
So you're totally sober?
100%.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't even think I had a beer in me, dude.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you're pretty close to it then.
Yeah, and it was morning, dude. It was like
Wow.
10 a.m., right? So I'm outside. I'm yelling to my brother. I'm yelling to his like buddies, his workers, right? I'm like, yo, there's aliens out here. Yo, you got to get out here, you know? And like, they're like, no, you know, like, fuck you, hippie. You know, back then I had dreadlocks. Everybody called me hippie. Fuck you, hippie. You know, this and that. I'm like, dude, get the fuck out here. And after like 3 minutes of me like yelling, they finally come out and they all see it too.
Wow.
Right? And bro, this thing went so slow. It was like, you know, barely moving. It went into the horizon, like over that mountain range, and turned into a star for hours.
Wow. So how big, like, how close do you think you saw it?
Like
when it was closer?
I'd say like, you know, a couple thousand feet.
A couple thousand feet?
Yeah. It was huge too.
Huh. Glowing.
Like made of light.
Made
like,
of light.
Almost like if you were looking into that light, but bright.
Was it disc shaped or was it round or?
It was rectangle, bro.
Rectangle.
Like a football field, dude. Just fucking made of light.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. No one got any footage of it?
No. Yeah, that was like the days of burner phones and shit. And like,
burner phones? Yeah.
Yeah.
No cameras.
Should have.
Bullshit cameras.
Yeah. And like when you're in a situation like that, was like pre-filming days, bro. I don't know. I never really had that reaction back then.
Yeah. Wasn't even a thing back in early 2000s, really. What other dangers did you face when you were growing out there?
Definitely got it. Like Hay Fork isn't like for the light of heart.
No.
You know, and neither is Clear Lake or Blue Lake. I mean, or you say Clear
Well,
Lake?
fires are Blue Lake. Blue
Lake.
Lake, California.
Yeah. So that's
But did you ever get close to any fires out there?
Oh yeah, yeah. So my first year farming, dude. You know, it was our second year farming. There's a big fire in Hay Fork, California, and I want to call it the Stafford fire, but don't quote me on that. And dude, like it was right at the horizon, bro. Like they evacuated half my road. So you couldn't even take a left on Morgan Hill Road. You could only go right. And basically, at night, dude, I'd be like taking whiskey shots, bro, watching like 300-foot pines just go up like matchsticks, and watering my property down, dude.
Wow.
Watering like, you know, my trailer. I lived in a trailer for my first 2 years, so I'm watering my trailer. I'm watering my fence. I'm like making a moat, dude. I'm going down with the ship, you know?
Oh man, that's gotta suck if your crop is like ready to crop and it burns down.
Yeah. And lucky enough, dude, that year it was like right as July went into August. So like it did black out the sun for like a week.
Really?
Which threw my, plants into flower. But at the same time, like it was about to happen anyways. So it wasn't like a huge tragedy. But it was kind of crazy. I'd have to go out every day and I'd shake pine needles. Like pine needles would just come down burning.
They're flammable too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they'd come down
So
burning
flammable.
and right into my dreads, bro. Shake them out of my dreads and, you know, shake my plants and just fucking ash would
But
come
you
down.
saved them somehow?
Oh yeah. No, that was like second year. I mean, dude, had a great year that year. I think we pulled 300 from like the main patch.
300 plants?
300 pounds.
Oh, 300 pounds?
Yeah.
From 99
Like,
plants?
average about 3 pounds a plant.
Really? Yeah. Wow. Did you tarp them ever?
Yeah, on one rain I did, but
Yeah.
it was kind of a fucked up situation. Yeah, and then like went out the next day, bro, and there was just fucking like hundreds of gallons of water in there. Just popped it all out.
Because tarping, people like to tarp, right? Outdoor.
You're talking about like,
Just when it rains, yeah. Like you tarp it. Does it
Yeah,
kind
I
of
mean-
make the outdoor better? I've heard.
well, I mean, yeah, if you're doing
If
greenhouse.
you're going to smoke it.
Yeah, definitely greenhouse, like the quality of some greenhouse in Northern California.
I thought there was like a tarp festival in Northern California. That's why.
tarp festival.
Yeah. I don't know. People tarping their weed.
Yeah, probably.
But shit. Well, I'm glad your crop didn't burn down.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, and then I had another fire where they actually evacuated our farm for a week, and that's another situation. But it's crazy because I've watched people's farms just burn to the ground in August, and you see the skeletons of plants, and it's like being in the Nightmare Before Christmas land.
Wow.
It's like really eerie, just cars melted to the ground and trailers melted to the ground, and yeah, people's trying to put clones in like mid-August, bro.
Yeah, that's a real risk up there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like up in Pot Mountain, dude. I think at least maybe 100, if not more, farms burned down one year.
That's crazy. I wonder if like it smells. You know how it smells like wood smoke when there's a fire here. I wonder if it would smell like pot going through, like down.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Well, what's next? How are you going to top that pyramid and go more viral? How would you top a hash pyramid?
Right, dude.
What are you going to do?
That's pretty much like,
Is that as big as you can go?
Well, I mean, I could always do 20, But
what if you did a circle? You built a frame and it was like a circle. Then you have a ring of fire in the middle.
That would be sick as well, dude.
And then you had people jumping through it when you were squishing it. Or Ron Bass is one of his donkeys. We could train him to like jump through the ring of hash.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down for any ideas you got. So
no, I mean, what's next? What do you think? Do you have thoughts? Or are you just winging it? Do you just wake up every morning and just kind of say what's gonna go? Are you?
Yeah, I mean, I've got some big things like in store in the future. I don't want to like give it all away, but there's some big things, big projects I'll be working on. Getting into like, I'll be throwing some pollen around with DNA, which is going to be some pretty cool content.
Yeah, they make some pretty cool videos too. I like them.
Yeah. Be throwing pollen with Mendo Dope Boys, so that's going to be pretty cool. I want to work with Champelli on some projects this year. We're in talks. Me and Ron Bass, we're going to do some cool stuff with the Madanuska Thunderfuck. So, this year's really like, I'll be doing a lot of hash content, but a lot of like traveling content as well. So I'm going to Cannabis, going to, Mary Jane Berlin, going to hopefully Thailand this year.
I want to get out there big time. Yeah. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
What's your favorite hash to smoke?
So my favorite hash, honestly, bro, and it's kind of crazy because everybody like is like this fine wine critic these days, bro. Like they see me pressing and they're like, oh man, like I only eat it, or I only dab Michelin star. It's like there's like this real snobbish mentality. I like the old school 90s fucking Moroccan like hash, bro.
Moroccan hash? Like black hash?
Yeah, bro.
I love that too. Yeah. Do you ever get that? Can you get that?
Bro, I wish.
Oh my God. That's like European, man.
And like
you like Gold Seal or yellow hats, like yellow in the middle almost.
Oh yeah, dude.
I love that.
Miss it, bro.
Me too. We had to figure out how to smoke that, but we would how would we do that? Oh, you could put a hole in the bottle and put it on like a cigarette and like split the smoke and have like a bot. Oh man, it's taking it back. I'm from Canada, so I don't know. Maybe it's different.
No, dude, it's the same thing, man. It's, and I miss it. And it's like, it's just one of those things. It's not pretty. So like people don't want it.
Yeah. It's nice. It's really heavy. It's really like makes like sleepy. I remember whenever I went out to Germany and they have it out there and it's good. It's heavy. Smoking the pipe with some weed. What's your favorite weed-related movie?
Weed-related movie? Bro, honestly, probably Cheech and Chong, man.
Cheech and Chong? Which one, man?
Up in Smoke.
Up in Smoke?
Yeah.
Okay, classic. Have you seen Half Baked?
Half Baked, yeah. Oh, dude.
That's a good one too.
I forget about
I like that one.
Yeah, dude.
If you could go back and give young Cowboy Jon some advice, would you have anything to say to him?
I would say, dude, like, you know, definitely believe in yourself, bro. Like, it's like that was like a big thing, like, you know, that I feel like I'm just starting to like really grasp is like believing in yourself.
That's important.
And like, you know, having faith that you can do anything, right?
You can do anything.
Yeah. And
absolutely anything.
That's
you can't give up.
Yeah. And like, you know, it's one of those things where like I'm a big dreamer. You know?
You have. That's good.
And I like to, you know, that's why, you know, I went to the Emerald Triangle. That's why I press big hash. I like being bigger, you know, larger than life. And it's one thing because, like, you know, I love this plant so much, right? It's you know, it's my passion, my bread, my home. It's like everything, you know, all I know is cannabis, right? So it's just something that, like,
well, you're passionate about it. You got to follow your passions. That's the key to life, I think. You never work a day in your life if you love what you do. You kind of like do what's fun. Life's a game, and you don't want to play a boring game.
Yeah.
But so where do you think the market's going with pot and the new there's a new administration? You got any predictions for where the weed market, or is it going to go federal, do you think? Like, I heard sales were down a lot. Like, it was really a big, for dispensaries, I heard.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, like, it kind of dipped off, but is it going to come back, or is it?
I mean, bro, honestly, you know, like the hemp market's raging right now.
Hemp.
Yeah, you have a lot of people moving from like cannabis into hemp, or at least trying to get a foothold in hemp, because of less restriction, right? And I've heard even they're doing like more restriction in Denver. In
fields of
Colorado.
hemp, dude. My friend's into acres of hemp. What do they do with it? They should build houses with it, because you know about like building material with hemp. It's like fireproof, like waterproof, like bricks and shit.
No, the utility
I mean, they used to make all newspapers were hemp back in the day. Like, the Constitution's written on hemp. And then that guy wanted to sell his trees and change everything to paper to make the money.
Yeah.
Maybe hemp fields are a good investment, because if everyone starts going to hemp, what kind of uses do you sell your fields of hemp for?
So, I mean, we've sold it for fiber use. So, like
fiber
you
use?
said, like, you know, with Jack Herer in the book, The Emperor Wears No Clothes, there's literally a challenge in there, right? It's $100,000 challenge. If you can find a resource that's more, you know, valuable than hemp on this planet, a renewable resource, right? And nobody's claimed that prize to this day because of its versatile, like, utility. I mean, there's nothing better. Hemp fuels, hempcrete, like you were saying.
Hempcrete, yeah.
You know, hempcrete houses, hempcrete roads, hempcrete, you know, hemp clothing, which is more durable.
Yeah.
You have, you know.
And waterproof, too, isn't it?
Hemp plastics, which can save the world, right?
And it grows so fast. It's like a weed. It just grows, and you crop it and grow next one.
I mean, you can plant it in places that are completely polluted, and it'll detoxify the soil.
Really?
It's you know, a few years of hemp remediation, and you got like unviable soil or radiated soil that can be used again.
Why don't you think more people like use it and manufacture with it?
I think
what's holding it back?
Big industry, man.
Big
like
industry,
you said, dude. Like, the big factories are built for something else, and it's like until there's big investments put into hemp, there's gonna be no action.
Can you just invest into hemp? Is it like a stock? Like hemp fields, or you gotta like get your farm and just do it?
I'm sure there's certain companies that you could invest in. I'd definitely look into it, but I haven't personally.
Like, if you grow it, it's just easy to sell to like a manufacturer? You don't ever have a hard time selling it? Like if you invest in fields and grow the product?
I mean,
Is
so
there
it takes
avenues,
a lot of work, bro. Like,
or do you have to kind of link that
dude,
up?
we would get sales teams and cubicles, and I mean,
Holy shit.
100 calls a day, 40 hours of talk time. Like, we probably went through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of sales guys to run the largest hemp farm in Colorado. If you don't have that, yeah, it's going to be hard.
It's gonna be
right?
hard.
But
Can you go small scale? Is it profitable small scale or not really? Like
yeah.
how many acres do you think you need to at least
If you're doing
do it for a living?
THCA right now, I mean, it's highly profitable,
Outdoor THCA?
outdoor, indoor, you name it. So highly profitable. But
So that's basically the same as THCA or THC,
yeah,
but you cold test it.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, a small farmer could definitely make a big name for themselves.
Oh, that's a smart little loophole to just grow some pot, man. Sounds like.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick, dude. Well, is there anything, you got any upcoming events you're going to, or anything you want to shout out before we wrap this up?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we're headed out to Champs, so big shout out to Champs Trade Show. That's going to be pretty
Those
sick.
guys are awesome. I've competed at a few of those. They're pretty sick.
Yeah, and Ron Bass is coming, which is going to be awesome. He's helping with the event.
Is this going to be like The Hangover, the movie? Are you guys going ham?
No, we're going.
Gonna keep it chill?
Business hats on. Just to spread, spread love, see the followers. I mean, it goes crazy. They love seeing me at the events, dude. I take thousands of pictures.
That's awesome.
This time I'll have like some goodies for my followers and stuff, which is pretty cool.
You got some merch you're going to bring with you?
Yeah, I got merch. I got some rosin, some flour, different stuff that will be.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is going to get out before the show, but I'm sure you'll be at the next Champs too. If seems like, is this your first one?
Yeah. Oh no, the first one with a booth. Well, no.
First one with a booth.
First one in Vegas with a booth.
First one in Vegas with a booth. Have you been to the Vegas show before?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, man. It's like 2 levels
it's
now.
Better every time, dude. It's definitely wild stuff.
Do you want to tell any more stories about growing weed out there? How about one last one? You got
all right. One
last story.
I'm not gonna talk about like the
People's names.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I guess a pretty cool story. One of these. It was my second year growing. One of my neighbors came up to me. He comes up to my gate. I had a rolling gate, and he's like, "Hey, hippie." Back then they called me hippie. Mm-hmm. Said, "Hey, hippie, you're can I talk to you for a minute or whatever?" I come over to the fence. He's like, "Hey, hippie, you're the only one I trust in these woods." He goes, "Will you take care of my son and my wife?" I'm not going to say their names. I was about to. And basically, I'm facing 25 to life. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I just.
What'd you say? You said yes?
Yeah, bro. Like,
dude.
I was in the moment, and I was like, I didn't know what to do. And, like, I was just like, yeah, bro, because he's my homie.
Yeah, you don't want to. He seemed. You can't let him down. What if you said no?
Yeah, he's going down for life, and he said I was the only one that he trusted. So
how are the kids doing?
So anyhow, like basically, I mean, they're all good now, but like the crazy thing is, so he comes up to my, he says he's facing 25 to life, and he's like, this is what happened. He's like, I need you to watch over my 299 patches. He goes, last night, 3 guys zip tied me and my family, and they threw him in the back of the U-Haul, right? They drove him around for hours through the Trinity Alps.
Jesus.
And he thought, this is my last day. This is it. Mm-hmm. They're going to bury me out in the mountains. And
that's traumatizing.
Yeah. And so, like, basically, they drive him around for a while. The U-Haul stops. He hears his wife and kids screaming, right?
Wow.
And he breaks out of the zip ties, and he lifts the U-Haul door off of the U-Haul, and he gets in. He sees in the front seat of the U-Haul there's like an AK or some sort of assault rifle, right? So he grabs it. He hides in the bushes. The first guy comes out, and he's like, oh, shit, the U-Haul door's off. Like, dude
Where'd he
escaped.
go?
Yeah, and, you know, runs back inside. All three of them come out, and, you know, the guy in the middle, I guess, the guy, like, the head guy was like, we're going to kill that motherfucker.
Are these like gang members or?
They're just, I don't know, some tweakers.
Redneck tweakers with
yeah,
guns.
They looked
Wow.
like tweakers in the newspaper. But anyhow, bro, you know, he said, we're going to kill that motherfucker. And my boy's in the bushes. He lines them up in the sights and boom, pulls the trigger.
Oh.
I wasn't there. He just told me.
Okay, he told you
yeah,
this.
he just told. I'm just good at telling stories.
Okay, yeah.
I like to like move my hands and stuff.
No. So he was witness to murder there.
Yeah, and I'm just like reenacting what he did.
Holy
you know?
shit.
So he gets him in his sights, and he hit the guy like right in the solar plex, right? He goes, hippie. He goes, I could see right through him. And, you know, does like a big
Must have
old
been a big
thing
gun.
like that. Yeah, and he goes, hippie. He went up in the air 2 feet and 3 feet back from like the impact of the bullet. And so like,
Did he escape with his family?
so yeah, I'm, you know, like the two other guys run off in the woods. That guy, you know, I guess he got picked up by the ambulance or whatever. They end up arresting my buddy, and they ended up letting him, you know, free because like he was just defending his family.
But he was worried about going to jail for 25 years too.
Yeah, because they didn't guns.
pin-
You can't have guns and like cannabis up there. Like they just look down on it when something bad happens.
But then he
like
just
that.
got off for self-defense.
Self-defense.
Yeah.
So he's kicking
Wow.
it now.
Well,
And I
it's
got
a wild,
some
wild
more
west out
stories
there.
for you know.
Yeah. Well, shit. I mean, I'm sure there's a ton out there that we could talk about, but why don't we save it for next time, dude? And we'll wrap it up. But I want to thank you for coming on the show. And can you go? Is there cowboyreserve.com?
Yeah.
Is
So
there a website? where people can-
cowboysreserve.com. We'll have retail up in I'd say a few weeks tops. So that'll be pretty cool.
Retail.
Yeah, retail.
Okay. And
Yeah.
is this just for merch or can you buy?
No, dude, like
THCA.
you can order THCA flour, so you can order eighths, you can order quarters, you can order
Ship to every
ounces.
state? Most states?
It depends on what, you know, they're going to handle logistics. I'm teaming up with a great company.
Okay.
They're huge in hemp. They
Yeah.
handle a huge, like celebrity brands basically that are in THCA. So they have like high volume, you know.
Well, I would recommend it because I don't really see the difference from like normal weed than THCA. It's kind of the same to me. So that's pretty cool.
No, 100%.
Did you need a license to sell THCA?
So the farms, I just, you know, 1099 from the farms.
Okay.
So they're selling direct to the customer. I just, you know, I'm the middleman.
Middleman?
Yeah. So
The marketing person?
guy,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's cool. Well, that's pretty sweet that you can do that in America.
Yeah.
God bless America.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's going to be grams of rosin on the website, eighths of rosin, quarter ounces, all the way up to half ounces of rosin.
All different prices for different strains or?
Yeah, and we'll have different tiers. So you're going to have your house shelf, which is going to be the more affordable tier of rosin and flour. You're going to have your mid shelf, which is going to be, or top shelf, and then you're going to have your reserve shelf. So.
Well, that's a real hot tip for anyone listening that wants to get some pretty good product online, legal, THCA.
Yeah, right to your door.
That is pretty good quality.
Yeah, quick shipping. I mean, you know, 2-3 days after you.
Very relaxing. Like, I like it.
Yeah.
I can't tell the difference between weeds. So, anyways, man, thanks again, bro. Appreciate it. We'll wrap this up. Thank you guys for watching. All right. Thanks for tuning in to the Robertson Stash Podcast. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you want to support us, please hit the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, we want to hear from you. So if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to reach out. Hit the website, hit the link. We'll see you next time.